and welcome to another episode of the Dragon's Lair podcast in association with Riverside Sports Bar, the home of live sport and great food in Newport. I'm Jamie, and joining me is Gavin Thomas. Hello, Gavin. How are we?
I'm very well, very well. I've avoided playing or reffing rugby this weekend, so my knees are largely intact.
Excellent. That's a good result. And fresh from his trip to Glasgow, a slightly hungover or very hungover Gareth Leclerc. Gareth, how are we feeling? How's your head? Have you recovered yet?
Not feeling particularly great. I think this afternoon I was throwing up in the airport when they were calling for last boarding. So
You were sick at the airport.
I was sick at the airport. Yeah, not my finest
Nice.
performance, but the
Classy.
people of the Glaswegians were very welcoming. So yeah, a little bit ropey, but yeah, all good.
Did you have pizza crunch when you were up there?
No.
That's deep fried pizza and chips.
No. Mainly just a lot of pints, to be
It's
fair.
a Glaswegian delicacy, apparently.
Nice.
I kind of wish I'd switched to that rather than whiskey at some point. That would have been better.
Oh,
I'm
mate.
not a whiskey drinker either. There's a very,
when you're doing
bad
that,
mistake.
that's when it. Oh God.
And watching the Dragons was worth it, wasn't it? You know, going all the way up there to watch that performance was worth it.
Oh, well, I had a lot to cheer about. So, yeah. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, which is why I never travel too far to watch the Dragons, if I'm honest. Rather you than me, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Thank you for your comments on our last pod. We had quite a few positive mentions. Andy on Spotify says, best regional pod by distance. He's right. We don't like to blow our own horn on this pod, but we listen to the others, and yeah, we are the best. The Dragons should dedicate their next win to you boys, he said, in brackets, it's coming. Well, hopefully. We don't know when, but hopefully it is coming. Over on Facebook, Scott says, brilliant pod, lads. For the Gwent Rugby Roundup, can we add the ladies' results as well? My daughter also listens to the pod, and she's kicking off as you never tell us the ladies' results. Right, we need to do something about this then, don't we? Because we can't have Scott's daughter kicking off. Gavin?
Scott's daughter. I have them here.
Excellent. So from now on, we're going to do ladies' results in the Gwent Rugby Roundup.
We are indeed. And I'm putting a call out now. I've got the results that I got from All Sports Wales. If you are involved in a women's club in the Gwent area and I haven't read your result out, let me know.
Happy days. In fairness, we probably should have done that from the get-go, read out the ladies' results. But, you know, we didn't. But better late than never, isn't it? So, yeah, good news. We will now be covering ladies' results in the Gwent region. Another comment we had, Gavin Potts said, really good listen, gents. Love the Gwent Rugby Roundup. And then he asks, do you reckon the Dragons are listening to the supporter frustration about the lack of injury updates? I would say yes, because they did actually give us an injury update, didn't they? Last weekend, in fairness to them. So, yeah, I think they are listening. If you don't ask, you don't get. And they do listen to this pod, and they do listen to the supporters. So, yeah, I think they have been listening, hence why we got a proper injury update on the weekend. Let's move on to news first, because there was a fair bit of news coming out of the club. Unfortunately, most of it's injury related. The news we all feared, unfortunately, for Tulipaia. He's had surgery for a broken arm, and he'll be out of action until December. Big blow. Really big blow after his excellent debut against the Sharks. Defence coach Dave McLeod says, Fatuli has had his operation and now was successful. There is no time frame on his return. Some of them can vary, and we won't get too caught up on when he's back. When he's back, he's back. It's a shame because he was very good against the Sharks. He carried strong, defended strong, and he's fitted in very well. It's interesting that the Dragons said there's no time frame on his return. Yet literally the BBC put out 5 minutes later that he's coming back in December. So, yeah, I don't quite know what was going on there. But that's sooner than I thought, mind. December return. I thought he'd be out for longer than that, did you?
I think it was possibly a green stick fracture, so not like a full breaking of the bone, just like an impact fracture.
But it could have been worse, couldn't it? It's a real shame. It's a real shame because he was so good against. That was one of the best debuts I've seen by a Dragons player, and yes, fingers crossed for a speedy recovery. We also had updates on Thomas Young and Elliot D. McLeod said Thomas is training well and is not far off. When you have a leg injury like his, you don't want to come back too early. He's running. I will stick to a plan with him as he's vital. And then he said about Elliot, he said, Elliot is rehabbing and we're looking to get him back into work. We will see how he goes over the next couple of weeks. They are both vital around the group with that experience. We have a lot of young lads, so they are adding value. So, yeah, not sure exactly when we'll see Thomas Young, but I think Elliot D could be back in a couple of weeks or so, which would be a big boost. How we could do with Thomas Young for this weekend, that would have been really, really good with it against Cardiff, but never mind. In other news, Steve Cummins, remember him? He's joined the Scarlets, his former club, on short-term injury cover. So the 33-year-old Australian lock has made just 6 appearances for the Men of Gwent since joining the club back in 2024. I don't know if you saw the Scarlets game, either of you. Cummins did come off the bench quite early. He came off in the 29th minute to replace the injured Tristan Davis. The Scarlets lost at home to the Stormers, 34-0. I'll be honest, he did okay. He did fine. He did more in 50 minutes than I've seen him do at 2 seasons at the Dragons. So, I'll give him that. I think he'll be there for a little while because they are down to the bare bones at the Scarlets for locks. They are really, really down to the bare bones.
Typical, they're the Welsh team that we're not playing in the next couple of weeks, when I wouldn't mind facing them now.
Yeah, but I have a feeling that Cummins is going to be with them for a bit of a longer time than anticipated if their injury at lock crisis continues. So, yeah.
I'm available if they want someone to second row.
You're available for the Scarlets, yeah?
Yeah.
You're putting yourself there.
Yeah.
Well, beggars can't be choosers,
well,
right?
I'm available for any team that wants me, but if they're short in second rows.
And they got to go to South Africa next, the Scarlets. They got no points. So if you thought Dragons were bad, this could be a very tough season for the Scarlets. But that's their problem, not ours. Moving onwards, Ashton Hewitt. He appeared on the Scrum 5 podcast, the warm-up show. The one with Cuthbert and Hook. And he announced his retirement from rugby. The 30-year-old has set up a consultancy firm working with organisations in diversity and inclusion issues. A lot of people were quite surprised by this, but I wasn't.
Well, no.
I wasn't surprised. He's only 30, so he could have had a few more years left in the pro game, but I'm not surprised he called it a day. I don't know about you two. Did this come as a shock to either of you?
I'm surprised he didn't retire earlier, if I'm honest. I know he came back from injury, but he lost a lot of his pace, didn't he? And, he was a poor bloke.
He had
so many injuries.
Yeah,
rough few years, didn't he? Great player back in the day when he was, fit and firing, but yeah, never hit those heights. So not big surprise, but wish him all the best. He'd always be a bit of a Dragons legend.
Absolutely, he is a Dragons legend. I wonder what happened with Worcester, though, because he did actually say in the podcast he did go up to Worcester to have talks with Matt Everard. Because a lot of people assumed he'd signed for Worcester, but he never did. So I don't know why that fell through, but I still feel he could have done a job, at English Championship level, or even in the Prem, a club like Newcastle, or Exeter, just for injury cover. But no, he's stepping back from rugby, and we wish him all the very best. Like you said, Gareth, he is a Dragons legend. So yeah, best of luck for the future, Ashton. Right, let's talk about the weekend. Oh boy, Glasgow v Dragons. So last week, we did say on the pod that we wanted to see Dragons make changes because of the 6-day turnaround for the Cardiff game. And lo and behold, they did exactly that. They listened to the pod. They did what we asked. I don't think they make as many changes as 12, I'll be honest, but they did make the changes and they rested the likes of Aaron Wainwright, Ben Carter, Rodri Williams, Wyn Jones, Robert Hunt, Angus O'Brien. And we had the likes of Finney Anisi and Ivan Owen and Ryan Woodman were the only survivors to the 15 that faced the Sharks. So this was a massively changed team. Second string, lots of young players. Harry Keddy pulled out just before the game and he was replaced by Wales under-20s captain Harry Beddle. So yeah, this was very much a second string Dragons team. And they came a cropper against Glasgow, as we knew they would, but they lost 49-0, which is not the result that we expect. And we knew that we were going to lose to Glasgow, of course, but I don't think we expected to be nilled. Do any of you know the last time Dragons got nilled in the league and who was against? Gareth?
No, don't know that one.
Gavin, do you want to take a guess the last time before this game went
Bulls
round?
2 years ago.
No, so it's more recent. It is recent than you might think. It was back in February 2022. Ulster beat Dragons 12-0 at Ronnie Parade. So do you remember when it was played in that awful game? Was you there, Gav, that awful weather?
Yeah, I remember now.
It
Grim.
was really awful, wasn't it? And there was a lot of talk about the game being cancelled.
It could have been off,
didn't
couldn't it? Yeah, they were brushing water off the pitch before the game.
Oh, I remember that game, yeah.
I remember Dan Baker carried like an absolute demon. Fair play. He was outstanding in that game, but we just couldn't get over the game line at all. It was really, really turgid game. But that was the last time we got nilled against Ulster. So two Welsh sides getting nilled this weekend. Scarlets and Dragons. It's not great this out in the current backdrop of Welsh rugby. Let's be honest, the timing is not good. Now, Gareth, you were at the game. You travelled all the way up to Glasgow to see that. I want you to give us a full report of your day at Scotstoun, please, and the game itself. So it's over to you now. Tell me all about the day, the experience, and the game. Off you go.
I mean, the experience was fantastic. Like the Glaswegians, fair play, they were so welcoming to us in the bars before and after. I mean, it's quite probably easy to be quite nice to people when you've won 49-0. It doesn't strike a huge rivalry, but the people were really friendly. I had a pint to lots of Glaswegians and bumped into a few Dragons fans as well along the way, which was all good. The stadium was, in the nicest possible way, a massive disappointment. You are a mile away from the pitch, which is just insane because there's the running track.
It's an athletic stadium, isn't it? That's why it was. That's why it was built.
And just the general atmosphere. And I know, look, you're in a game that's extremely one-sided. Glasgow aren't, you're not going to get that ferocious atmosphere. But the atmosphere was really poor. Not much singing. Spoke to a few Glasgow fans about it afterwards, and they don't massively like this stadium. They want somewhere purpose-built for them as a rugby stadium, get a bit closer to the pitch, because you just feel it's 4 very separate stands, all very far away from the pitch. Great facilities there, food, drink, all that was good. But yeah, as a stadium, it was a little bit of a letdown. And then the product on the pitch, I mean, I actually went up there pretty excited to see players like Tripaloto as well. He's a world star, and I actually felt we actually kept him quite quiet. And I think sometimes a sign of how you're playing is what's the murmurings around you from the opposition fans. And Glasgow fans around me, I could hear them talking, and because it's so quiet there, was saying, only joking, Glasgow fans, you were nice. They were saying, God, Dragons they're hitting us hard, mind. Oh, they're tackling well, and it felt like we did have quite a bit of purpose in defence. I haven't watched the game back, and I might have watched it through slightly blurry vision, but I thought like a Nyron Owen was really putting it around in defence, tough as well, playing sort of 2-12, so he was a bit out of position, but I thought he put it about. I thought Harry Ackerman could get us over the gain line as well at times. I thought he shows a lot of promise. Bit disappointed to see him limping off, but he was playing with that limp for quite a while, so hoping it's not too bad. But great to see us. Yeah, I thought we actually showed quite a bit of bite in defence, which isn't then reflected in the scoreline. And a couple of the tries we conceded were a little bit soft. Anisi, watching him live, chasing kickoffs and hitting people hard, I thought he put in a really good shift. I thought Seb Davis, as a first outing, put it about a bit. Dylan Lewis had some good moments as well. Probably not the day for Big Mac. I think there was a couple of handling errors. I think you can't fault his work ethic, and I think he will go on to have some really good games for the Dragons. But I think a few errors crept into his game, which was a little bit frustrating because at times we built a little bit of momentum, we had a little bit of field position, and then we couldn't quite capitalise. Like it was a tough day for 2 young halfbacks. But I thought at times they acquitted themselves well. The one Jack Lloyd kick to the corner was absolutely unbelievable. Glasgow fans around us, I think it was towards the end of the first half, were like, God, that's an unbelievable kick. Put us on a line out 5 meters out, which they then disrupted, and I think we knocked it on, which was frustrating. So yeah, it was a mixed bag. It didn't feel like a 49-0 game to me. Felt like we stuck in the fight, we created chances, But ultimately, Glasgow are a very, very good side. And we did pick a second team. And I stand by it. It was the right decision. We needed to keep players fresh for a big game now at home against Cardiff.
Okay, fair enough. Gavin, what was your take on it?
I was probably less alcohol fueled than Gareth watching it watching it at home. So what were the positives? I thought Harry Ackerman played well. I thought in the first half we showed real guts in defence. We were breaking over the game. Then it was a shame when Levi Douglas went off injured because we lost one of our big carriers there. I thought, Jack Lloyd and Shea Hope probably not the game for him. But I thought Niall Armstrong looked better when he came on than I previously thought he was. And him and Tinas give us a bit of zip. I thought the scrum held up its end all right.
Yeah.
Dylan Lewis is a bloke with 50 odd Welsh caps and he played like he's an experienced player. I think the scrum, but then, the downside, when we lost Dylan Lewis, when we made those changes in the second half, scrum fell apart a bit. I thought Beddle played well. He's a good breakdown forward, which is what we need. Line out was all over the shop, and it was both bits. First half when Ollie Burrows was playing, and second half when Jumbo came on, it wasn't happening. They were disrupting us, and we had nothing to do with it. There was that one we've managed to get penalty. We're right in the corner. Jumbo overthrows it, and they break away. And I think the downside for me is we were so susceptible to the counter attack, but then offered very little penetration ourselves.
Yeah. Do you think that scoreline? I mean, Glasgow were obviously the better team. Of course they were. I am not a Dragons apologist, and I don't want to try and twist this in any way. But do you feel that scoreline truly reflected our efforts, though? Do you
No.
think it's a bit harsh?
Yeah, I've been on the end of 49 nils that feel like 49 nils. That didn't feel like a 49 nil.
No.
Yeah.
And that last try was, the penalty try. Well, that could have gone anyway, and that was just one of those things, wasn't it?
We've sent our first choice team up there over the last few years and had more points put on us. And it was a second choice team. There was a lot of youngsters there. I feel like we acquitted ourselves well, and that might, that shows where we are at the minute. But I feel like if we had sent our second team up there last year, it would have been 100 points. So I think we are showing improvement. And players acquitted themselves well. I hope we get some news on Levi Douglas. That was a shame. He looked nasty. He looked in pain when you could see him live. So, do me.
It's just that scoreline, just like I said, it doesn't look good in the current climate of Welsh rugby.
No.
And also, you get people on social media who haven't watched the game. They just look at the score and they just roll their eyes and go, "Oh, see, this is why we need to cut teams." But if they actually watched the game, I don't feel like they would say that, But
no, it wasn't I think it was like some of the low points of last season. It wasn't like that.
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
No, agreed.
And at half time, Johnny McGinty from the Scottish Rugby Pod was like sending me things. I thought you sent your second team. You're well in this.
I thought we were good in the first half. I mean, it was only 14-0, but we had numerous opportunities to score points. And I think what let us down was, I'll talk about it in a bit, but we just wasn't clinical where we needed to be. Our handling let us down. We're not very good in the opposition 22. That's when we really struggle to get over the red zone. And it's just, it's frustrating, but we've seen this numerous times with the Dragons over the years.
We lack red zone precision, as they say in the NFL.
Exactly, yeah. Let's go to the listeners' comments then, because we asked our listeners on the socials to give us their instant match reaction to it. So Nick Foyle says, need to find a place for Hugh Anderson on the field. Yeah, he was very good, wasn't he, Hugh Anderson? Yeah, there's a couple of errors, as you'd expect, but he always looked dangerous with ball in hand. Jeff Davis says, that game does nothing for our mental frailties. If the pressure wasn't already on, It is now. It's obvious the management are placing everything on the home derbies. Yes, it is obvious, and it's the right thing to do.
Well,
so they should.
And I don't blame them.
Yeah, a loss next week will just set the tone. Hold on, it's going to be a bumpy ride again in capital letters. Colin Wheeler says, not a chance in hell against Cardiff. That's the spirit, Colin. Well done, Colin. Players like Hope, Lloyd, Ackerman, Anderson, Richards, Beryl, DKG and Burrows all getting top level exposure. This is from Loaf. This is from your brother, Gav. He says, further into the season, we may need to lean on a few of those players more often, and they would have learned a lot from that game. Gutted for Levi Douglas, he says. Yeah, I think we all gutted for Levi, haven't we? You know, because he's been pretty
he looked good.
He joined the club.
Yeah, he's had a good bit of impact, hasn't he? Fair play.
Yeah, absolutely. Dan Davis says Douglas was looking like he would push for a start next week. We've now lost 2 of our best ball carriers in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's not ideal, is it? But it's just typical of the Dragons injury curse, I guess. Ackerman overtakes Westwood for me on that showing.
Yeah, agreed.
The scrum half on the bench looks to have something about him. That's Niall Armstrong, by the way. Yeah, fair enough. Agree with all that. Darren Elgar said Ackerman looked good. Yeah, a lot of positive comments for Harry Ackerman.
He just wants to dominate that contact area, doesn't he? When he hits a collision, he wants to get past the guy. I like him a lot.
He's a big lad, and you know, he carries his weight well, doesn't he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dave Ashton says, we're obviously never going to win with such a big rotation. If we beat Cardiff, it'll be worth it. If we don't, then Philo's going to have egg on his face. No, I don't think he will, actually. I don't think he will have egg on his face if we lose to Cardiff. I still think it's the right thing to do, and I'll explain why in a minute.
Cardiff are in good form as well at the minute.
Yeah, we will come on to that. We will talk about it. But I still think we did the right thing, and I'll explain why in a bit. Abel Marconi said, result as expected, just outgunned and outmuscled. No surprise considering the changes. The loss of Levi Douglas would be massive. Big Mac impressed. We had some shape when Tinas came on, but it was too late. Gareth Haycock. Hello, Gareth. I know Gareth. I met him a few times in Ronnie's bar. Very positive Dragons fan. He's a bit like you, Gareth. He's a bit overly positive at times.
I know him. He's a good guy, to be fair.
Yes, he's a nice guy. He's a good guy. Yeah, we've had some good chats, Rodney, over the years. But yeah, he is a very optimistic Dragons fan. He says, I think we showed more in our loss than we did in a lot of the games last season.
I agree
with that?
I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't disagree.
But some of the games last season were embarrassing. That yesterday wasn't embarrassing. And I just
last
remembered
10 minutes wasn't great.
I've got to pick out one highlight that I went up there obviously with my cousin, and there was a bit of banter with the mascot, and my cousin did rugby tackle him in front of the crowd. So that was that was a bit of a highlight as well. I got to give him a shout out for that.
But Gareth, you say it's not embarrassing, but 49-0, it is an embarrassing scoreline, isn't it?
If you just see the score, but if you watch the game, we were in that fight, and given the context of they had 4 British Lions in that team. We had guys making the URC debut for us. Yeah. It's
I've got an embarrassing scoreline to share. Well, not embarrassing, a painful scoreline to share in the Gwent Rugby Roundup. So,
right. Okay, look forward to that. What else does Gareth say? He said we were so much better than the result suggested. Yeah, I can go along with that. I do think we were better than the result suggested. The kids did well, he said. More of a concern, though, he says, why are all of our injuries so bad? Levi's doesn't look good. Straight after Piers is just a joke. What have we done to deserve this? Are we cursed? Yes, the Dragons are cursed, Gareth. I've answered your question there. We are always cursed with injuries, aren't we? And it's the same story every single season. We can never get to the bottom of it, but we are very cursed when it comes to injuries.
They need to burn stuff in a dustbin. Have you seen the Ted Lasso episode of Cursed?
Yes. I know, that's why I'm laughing. I know exactly what episode you were talking about. That's a great reference. Let's have a look at X then. What did supporters say on X? Gav Dyer says, what is the Dragons' DNA? What is the approach? The attack has no shape or discernible pattern. They're neither a mauling team that kicks corners and territory or have a clear attacking shape that whoever plays you can clearly identify with. That's something we've spoken about plenty of times on this pod, to be fair. We've spoken about that at length. Both of these issues come back to leadership and coaching. Under Tia, are we any more clear in a vision or style that we can attach to the club? Or, he asks, is the coaching clearly not up to it? I think those are very fair questions to ask.
Yeah.
I think they're very, very valid
but
to ask.
Can you identify many teams' style of play when they play away at Glasgow? Most teams just get ripped to shreds.
I would struggle to describe our playing style a lot of the time. And you can with other teams, I think.
But this is something that you've spoken about, Gavin, at length. Ever since we started doing this pod, you've always said, I don't know. If you had to explain to somebody the Dragon style of play, you've often said, I'd struggle to tell them.
Yeah, and
Yes, fair.
And I can talk about rugby generally, but I really don't know how best to describe our style.
Fair enough. Not sure how you pronounce this. Cuckoo Bar Coda. I think that's a made-up name, to be honest. He says the club have added positivity in playing staff, but surely investment in a top-class coach and backroom team must be on the agenda. Michael Davis says Philo needs to get the sack. He isn't good enough.
I've seen a few people saying that.
I mean, I don't think we're at that stage yet, but it is worth pointing out, since Philo took over from Dave Flanagan, he's won just one game. That was in the Challenge Cup against Newcastle. He hasn't won a single game in the URC. And the longer this goes on, I think there's going to be some questions being asked by everyone, because it can't continue, can it? It cannot continue.
Yeah, in the broader picture, yeah. But the reaction to taking a second team to Glasgow is a bit of an overreaction, in my opinion.
Yeah, but is he basing it just on this game, or is he talking about a wider...
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't the game to base anything on, really.
Oh, God, no. No, not at all.
The next two home games is it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Reese Ford says, in spite of the scoreline, there were some positives. Dragons created chances. They just didn't convert them to points. Completely agree. They missed enough chances and the game runs away from you. Yeah, it's a fair point. I don't think we're clinical enough. Richard Jones says that was painful. He says, luckily, I have a nice bottle of single malt to ease the pain. So, yeah, you don't have to
feel sick.
Yeah, you don't have to drink alcohol to watch the Dragons, but it certainly helps. That's what I say. So yeah, those were the listeners' comments. What were my takeaways from the game? Just briefly, line-out was a disaster, wasn't it? In the first half, we had 3 attacking line-outs, all of them in a promising position, and we butchered all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know whose fault that was. Was that Ollie Burrows, the hooker? Was it the line-out calling, the jumpers? I don't know. I think we're very quick to blame the hooker all the time, but the line-out is a cohesive unit, isn't it?
As somebody who throws the ball into a line-out quite a lot, it's not solely down to you throwing it. It's down to timing. It's down to the calls. It's quite a precise operation.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure who was to blame. I think it was a bit of everything. I think it was the calls, the throws, the jumpers. It was a bit of everything. But whatever it was, the line-out did not function. It was very frustrating because we had 3 very promising attacking line-outs in a good position and we fucked it. And that's really annoying. Harry Ackerman was one of the few players that came out with this game with credit, I think. I thought he was very, very good. He did limp off in the 64th minute, as we mentioned. Hopefully it's not serious and he'll be available for the Cardiff game. I would be very tempted. I know he was limping as a short turnaround, but I would be tempted to go for the same centre partnership for Cardiff, Ackerman and Owen, personally. But we can discuss that in a bit. But I thought he was very good. Mackenzie Martin, I thought he did well. I thought he did okay. Yeah, he did make some errors, Gareth. I get that. You're right. But I thought he carried well. There was one really big turnover. I thought he was okay. Tina Stabia continues to impress me. He was very good off the bench, wasn't he? Jack Lloyd wasn't as... There was a lot of criticism around Jack Lloyd. Look, he's a young pup. This was his first URC start, so let's not judge too much. I think he's a talented player, but I think this was a big step up for him. I personally would have started Angus for this one, not chuck Jack Lloyd in at 10, but it was a big call. It didn't quite pay off, but Dabir was very good off the bench, as was the scrum half, Niall Armstrong. Also, speaking of Niall Armstrong, why the hell did Premier Sports have an Iranian flag next to his name? What was all that about? Did you see that on the graphic?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that is odd.
They put, instead, because he's obviously from Belfast, he's Northern Irish, but they had an Iranian flag next to his name on the graphic, which was very weird, very, very weird. Yeah, handling and skill set still lacking, wasn't it? Again, this is an ongoing problem. The scoreline does look awful, but like I keep saying, I thought we had numerous opportunities to get on the scoreboard, particularly in the first half, just fluffed our lines. The first half was actually all right. I keep saying it. I thought we were good in the first half, and we should have gone into halftime with some points on the board.
Yeah.
But again, it feels weird saying this. And as you know, I'm definitely not a Dragons apologist, but despite that scoreline, 49-0, I can tell you right now, and I think we can all agree, I have seen far worse Dragons performances than that.
Yeah.
Much worse. I've seen us lose 60 points to 3 to Glasgow at home. I saw us lose 60-odd points to 3 away at Munster, and they were far worse in those games than they were on Saturday night, even though we didn't score a point. It's weird to say, I know.
No, I would agree. I've seen worse, like 20-0 defeats than that 49-0.
Yeah. And if we offered absolutely nothing, I mean, we was on the back foot for large periods of that game. Let's, be real about it. But if we offered absolutely nothing, then fair enough. But we got into Glasgow's 22 quite a lot. We just didn't convert those opportunities.
Had a disallowed try as well.
Yes, forward pass, another forward pass.
It was forward as well.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, that one was never going to be given. But we were creating opportunities, but yet again, we just weren't clinical enough, and we got punished for it. So yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? Scoreline is awful, result is awful, and yet I don't think the performance was that awful as the scoreline suggests. So now let's talk about the biggest talking point. And you've touched on it briefly, Gareth, as well, but I'm going to talk about this. So there's been a lot of discourse on social media about the Dragons making 12 changes. I still maintain that making 12 changes on a 6-day turnaround for the Cardiff game was absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Agreed.
Even if Glasgow had won that game 100 points to 0, I'd be sat here telling you all that exactly the same thing. It absolutely is the right thing to do. Right?
Agreed.
Here's where we are, right? The Dragons have to focus on the winnable games, especially the ones at home. Glasgow away was never a winnable game. We could have taken a full strength team up to Glasgow, and it's quite likely we would have conceded 40, 50 points then.
Yep.
And what happens if that happened, and for example, Aaron Wainwright came off injured? What happens if we lose Ben Carter? What happens if we lost Tina Stabia? What happens if we lost Rob Hunt? You get people screaming, why didn't we rest them for this game and save them for Cardiff?
Exactly.
We absolutely did the right thing. And Glasgow away was never going to be a winnable game. Don't forget, they were coming off the back of a very disappointing defeat against Benetton. They received a lot of criticism in the Scottish press. They had a sticky start this season. We were always there to be battered. That's the truth. We were unfortunately, we're the victims of a backlash. That's just how it was. So it's not being negative to say this is not a winnable game. It's just being realistic. It's knowing where your team is at. And the fact of the matter is, that game against Glasgow, that's not going to define the season. Ulster away in the first week is not going to define the season. What is going to define our season? These games coming up now. The Sharks game we've already talked about. That was massive. We didn't win that game. These home derbies are huge. They are massive. And if we don't win them, I think we're in deep trouble, because then history is going to repeat itself. Because this is and I spoke about it on the last pod, this is exactly what happened last season, where we won just one game in that first block. We had a terrible first block. We didn't get the results. And then the second half of the season, we lost all confidence, momentum, and the injuries piled up. I have no problem with Dragons doing what they did. I know they're getting a lot of criticism from supporters saying it's defeatist and all the rest of it, but if we beat Cardiff on Friday, no one's going to give a toss about that Glasgow game.
No one's going to care less.
We are not. Yep. Gareth, are you going to care about the Glasgow game if we beat Cardiff?
No.
Are you going to be thinking about this game at all?
No, I'll be so happy. It's all I ever want is for us to finally beat Cardiff. Like, I agree. If we had lost the Glasgow game by 100 points, it's the right call. And it's not just the Cardiff game. We've got another then emotional derby the week later against the Ospreys. Yeah. You can't just flog players to death. They need a break. So there's two big games in that.
Yeah, two games that's going to define the season. Like I said, Ulster away, Glasgow away, they're not going to define the Dragon season, but these two games, I think, can make or break our season.
Yeah.
They are huge, and they've got to be won.
I say, if we win these, suddenly we go, right, we're unbeaten at home, and then when we go into, I think Connaught might be the next home league game, suddenly Rodney Prade's getting that fortress feel back. And we can actually go into a game and we might actually walk over there with a bit of confidence.
I think it's Leinster, actually. It's the next
Leinster.
Right. So
Balls.
You might want to roll back on that a little bit now.
Yeah, never mind. Well, still. But yeah, it's just massive. Two massive games, isn't it? I can't wait. Be ready for a beer again by Friday.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. If there wasn't a 6-day turnaround and the Dragons had made all those changes, I would not be saying what I'm saying now. Then I would be a little bit miffed. I'd be like, hang on a minute now. But the fact it was a 6-day turnaround, and it's not just any old game, it's Cardiff. A team we haven't beaten for a decade. This is our biggest game of the season, really, in terms of Ronnie Prater's a commercial. Yeah, this is the game that we're most likely. Well, I don't know if we will sell out, but it's going to be our highest gate of the season, right? This is a must win. Glasgow is not a must win. No disrespect to Glasgow, you're a very good team, but in the grand scheme of our season, you're irrelevant. It's all about Cardiff. It's about Ospreys. Win those games, and I think that's when the confidence and the momentum starts to build.
Agreed.
And no one is going to give a toss. I can guarantee you, at the end of the first block, if we win those derbies, no one will give a toss about Glasgow away. It won't even be on our radar. When we come to look back over the season, review it, it's not even going to come up. We're going to be looking back on what happened against the Sharks. We're going to look back at what happened against Cardiff, against Ospreys, against Scarlets, against Connacht, the teams that we feel that we have a chance against. That's just where we are. I think we did the right thing. I know it was a terrible result, and I get people saying, it damages confidence, momentum, it's defeatist. We did the right thing, 100%. So I'm not going to criticize the club too much this week because I still believe we did the right thing. That's where I am on it. So
I totally agree.
Yeah, same.
Excellent. I'll get back off my soapbox now. Right. Gavin, Gwent Rugby Roundup. It's that time.
Right. Well, before the Gwent Rugby Roundup, I want to do the feature we introduced last week of song lyrics based on the last game.
Yes, we've had requests for this. Come on, I'm looking forward to this one. What have you got for us?
This week, and everything you want and everything you see is out of reach, not good enough.
Yeah. It's so apt, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's so apt.
Who's that by?
I tried to think. I know it. I just can't think. It's not Stone Roses, is it?
It's not. It's not as cool as that.
It's ringing round in my head. Everything. It's nothing silly like Duran Duran, is it?
You're not far off.
Really? It's a new romantic band.
It's from that period.
Spandau Ballet, Duran Duran.
Not new romantic, from that period. Biggest pop band of that period.
Oh, my mind's gone blank. I don't know.
It's Everything She Wants by Wham.
Oh, bloody hell. Of course it is. Now you've said it. It is, yeah.
But I thought, it's true. Everything you want is out of reach, and it's not good enough. And that's where we are currently.
Very, very good. Yes.
Right, so the Gwent Rugby Roundup. No SRC this week. So straight into the Prem.
Yeah.
Cross Keys against Bargoed. So a regional derby. Cross Keys 13, Bargoed 23. Newbridge travelled to Sardis Road and came away not winners, 66 points to 17 to Pontypridd. Into the Championship East, Bedwas 76, Talwine 15. Not a great day for Talwine there. St Joseph 25, Abtlary Blaenau Gwent 17. St Peter's 15, Penaltha 3. So not a pleasant trip out of the region there for Penaltha. And Anistee 10, Treorchy 46.
That's a battering.
It is a battering. Into Division 1 East Central, Caerphilly 21, St Albans 23. Division 1 East, Abergavenny 16, Blaenau 41. Bedlinog 41, Blackwood 12. Blaenavon 19, Dowlais 46, another battering. Monmouth 24, Nelson 41, and Newport High School All Boys 31, Brimau 19. Division 2, Abercorn 23, Caldecott 21. Abercorn's team featuring friend of the pod, Jason Tovey at 15.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Newport Saracens 38, Croesakilliog 12. Pontypool United 58, Ask 34, defence not on top there, and neither were the Up the Valley and Rumney, where Rumney 56, Pill Harriers 38. Plenty of tries.
Sounds like a good game, that is, to be fair. I like the sound of that.
St Genevieve 14, Cwmbran 43, a good win away for Cwmbran there. Division 3 East, The Portchester, the Welsh sides, Chepstow, 28, Machen, 21. Cardiff 31, Killian 30, nail biter there. Gwynafyd 50, RTB Evervale 7. Not good for my local boys, that result. Nantiglow 30, New Pantig 27. And another nail biter at Risca 27, Fleur de Lis 29. Division 4, Bedwellty 19, Llanilla 39. Crickhowell 35, Pontefraith 23. Couple of nice pubs on the trip back, though, from Crickhowell there, boys, so, at least some positives. Oakdale 14, Derry 18, Whitehead 32, Crumlin 26, and the Tredegar Ironsides Abertussa game was abandoned after 50 minutes due to a referee to the injury to the referee. The Ironsides were 21-5 up at that point of the game. Division 5 East, Abersychan 20, Hartridge 37, Blackwood Stars 17, Trinant 5, Haverdarannis 30, Betus 27, and Hollybush 0, Bargoed Athletic 59. And we commented last week in Division 5 East on Beaufort's games being postponed. It would appear they've been removed from the league, and one of their players did comment on our tweet.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and said, and like if anyone from Beaufort is listening, if there's anything we can do to help you boys, we will happily do that, because we've lost Tredegar, we've lost Westmorn. Certainly don't want to lose any other clubs from the region, and particularly a club I've got a massive soft spot for.
Yeah, it's a real shame, that is.
Shame. I played a tour game up there, and I've never been so welcomed on a tour ever as when we played up there. Into Division 6 East, the Brynifel St. Julian's HSOB game was postponed. Hirwine 32, Mago 35. Good win for Mago, that. And then one, if you do have children listening, or anyone of a sensitive disposition, probably put their hands over their ears. Penaltha Athletic 141, Girlin 0.
Oh gosh. I think it's really sad when you hear these kind of cricket scores happening in grassroots level, do you? Like, on the one hand you go oof, but then on the other hand you think, bloody hell, that's a bit sad, isn't it?
And I do feel, because you've got the second team there of a championship team in Penaltha.
Yeah.
And Girlin are very much a grassroots club. And, it happened last week for me. We played the third team of a side who were operating at a much higher level. And, yeah, you could see it does happen. But, yeah, being on the end of 141-0 defeat is not going to convince anyone they'd want to put their boots on next week, is it?
No. Sorry, I was going to ask, I don't know if I've asked you this question before, Gav. I might have. Have you ever been involved in a game where you've been battered like 100 points to 0? Have you been on that side?
Never conceded 100 points. I have been in a 91-0, a 91-5, and a 97-3.
Right.
I scored the drop goal in the 97-3. And the highest win I've ever been involved in was 121-3.
Fair dues. Oh, brilliant.
But it's not fun. It's not fun just running over the opposition.
It's not what you want to see, is it? In grassroots level, you don't want to see these cricket scores. You want to see competitive rugby.
If you think about that Pontypool United game, 58-34.
That sounds like fun.
Oh yeah, that's going to be fun for everyone.
Yeah.
Or like Risca 27, Fleur de Lis 29. That's okay, because Fleur de Lis, Risca will be kicking themselves. Fleur de Lis will be happy, but nobody's going on good. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
No, so into the Dragons Athletic League, Killian at 19, Bedwas Athletic 29, Chepstow Druids 5, Anisty Rats 55. Second team doing better than the first at the minute. Monmouth Druids 0, Nelson Nomad 63. And then that takes us into women's results.
Yes.
The women's Prem, Cymru Caerdydd 10, Anisty 32.
Excellent.
Women's Championship, the game between Gwynafyd and Llanwitvarder was postponed. Gwynafyd, despite not being in Gwent, are in our region. Women's National League East, Ebervale 5, Aberavon 52. geography-wise, I'm not sure where Aberafon counts as east, personally. But there you go.
No.
And Newport High School Old Boys versus Dowless was postponed. If you're involved in a women's club and I haven't read your score out, let us know.
Yes, please do. Yeah.
And if you know where to point me to the results other than All Wales Sport, please do.
Yes, please help an old man out with information.
Yeah. Old man confused by internet.
Yeah. No, we do. We welcome any help regarding the women's game, and yeah, it's nice to hear the ladies' results. So thanks to Scott for pointing that out to us. That's it, Gav, is it?
Yep, that's it all this week.
Okay, lovely stuff. Just a reminder then, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the podcast and spread the word. We are available on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, all the usual podcast platforms. And if you leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, you will get a shout out on the pod. We're on the socials as well. We're on Facebook, X, and Blue Sky, so follow us there. Our listening figures have gone up. I've sent you the data, as you know. We was in the top 30 at one point in the Apple UK podcast charts, like rugby. That's massive for us. For a tiny pod such as ourselves, talking about the Dragons, we was in the top 30, and we was above some very high established rugby pods, like big name rugby pods. So fair play.
Commercial, professional ones.
Exactly. We are doing well. And I've also noticed our views on YouTube has gone up as well, quite significantly, actually. So, yeah, thank you to everyone who's listening, watching us ramble about the Dragons and talking about defeats every week. It seems there's an appetite for it, and there seems there's an audience for it. So, yeah, thank you very much. We do appreciate it. Right then, let's look ahead. Friday night. Gareth, contain yourself now. So, Dragons hosting Cardiff at Ronnie Parade, Friday Night Lights. So, look, we all know about the history of this fixture. I think this game is the rugby equivalent to Everton versus Liverpool. Why do I think that? Hear me out. So, as you well know, Gavin, you're a football fan. Everton have an awful record against Liverpool, don't they, in the Merseyside derby?
Do.
And I watched the Liverpool-Everton game a few weeks back. Liverpool won, of course, 2-1. And after that game, TNT Sports put out a stat on all the socials. And they said, Liverpool have now lost just 2 of the last 30 Merseyside derbies.
Ooh,
and I
wow.
saw this stat and I thought to myself, that sounds like a very similar record to Dragons against Cardiff. It has to be, doesn't it? For the record, Dragons are on a 19-game losing streak against Cardiff. I mean, it's been a very long time. We haven't beaten them since 2015 when we hilariously dumped them out of Europe, which will always be my favourite Dragons Cardiff game. So you can beat us many times like Cardiff. We'll always have that game when we dumped you out of Europe, and it was very satisfying at the time. Cardiff are 4th in the URC table. They beat Connacht on Saturday night. I don't know if any of you two caught much of the
saw
game.
the highlights. They looked solid. They were the better side.
Yeah. It was a very scrappy game. I thought Connacht were absolute rubbish, if I'm being honest.
There weren't many highlights, were there? Because I seen the highlights.
No,
it was quite a short clip.
Game. Connacht were very, very poor. I think their game against Scarlets being postponed had a negative effect on them. They did nothing. They didn't really play much rugby. Cuthbert kept saying several times throughout the game they're not doing anything. They're not offering anything, Connacht. It wasn't until the last 5 minutes of the game where they actually looked threatening. I thought they were really poor. But Cardiff beat what was put in front of them.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do. And for the crying and mourning from their supporters about Sherratt leaving for Wales, you have to say they've adjusted very well to life without their beloved jockey. And they're overwhelming favourites to continue their dominance over the Dragons on Friday night. Now, we're not sure how Cardiff are going to line up for this one because it's very early in the week with team news. We do expect Ben Thomas to return from his suspension for this game, provided he's done his tackle course training, which he would have done. Will Josh Adams be available for this game after missing the Connacht game through injury? We don't know.
There was a head knock, wasn't it? So I imagine so.
Will Cardiff rush Dragons legend Lupe Faletau back for this one? They do have a habit, Cardiff, of rushing back to Lupe for this game. They've done it on several occasions. So we'll have to see where Lupe is at, but do not be surprised if he is in the Cardiff squad on Friday. One player that won't be available is Teddy Williams, who suffered a serious ankle injury, bless him. It was awful. It was really awful. That's a massive blow for Cardiff and Wales. Huge for
I
Cardiff.
smiled then because I was happy that he was out, but
That's
I obviously
not
don't
nice,
wish him to
Gareth.
be injured. Yeah, I genuinely, he's a good player.
It looked horrible as well.
He could be pushing for Wales honours again in the autumn if he was fit. So yeah, don't wish him to have a long-term injury. Happy for him to be out for a week, but yeah, sad news really.
It is a boost for us that he's not available, but not in these circumstances.
Yeah.
So that's a huge blow for Cardiff. It might mean that we see former Dragons lock and community champion George Knott starting against Dragons, which I'd like actually.
Who?
Oh,
no,
come on,
only
Gareth.
joking,
You
George.
know so well. You used to chat to him on the school run. You know exactly.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a good player, wasn't he?
He's a lovely guy.
I just can't like anything associated with them lot.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, it's understandable. But George is a lovely guy, and I, for one, would really like to see him start in this game against his former team. I think that'd be quite nice.
Imagine having a child that supports Cardiff.
I know. I do feel for you, Gavin. I really do. You need to have a word. So what's gone wrong there then? I'm going to put that down to bad parenting.
Yeah, I'm going to say blame the parents.
They do say blame the parents, don't they? So that's what I'm going to.
I think if my child supported Cardiff, I'd put glitter in the bottom of a pond and say, "Go look at that shiny thing."
No comment. Obviously, there is the return of a certain Tame Basham. I'm sure the terrace will give the proud Men Of Gwent a very warm welcome, won't they, Gareth, on Friday night?
Oh, indeed.
You'll welcome him back with open arms and give him a warm welcome.
Really looking forward to seeing Tane, and I'm sure the warm welcome we give him we'll make sure he keeps a cool head as well.
Yes.
He's renowned for keeping a cool head. So I can't see where that's going to go wrong.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll have to see what Cardiff, what the team news is going to be like. It's going to be very interesting. You know, I am going to be looking out to see if the guys of Josh Adams, Tupe Faletau will be involved. Tom Bowen is a man in form. This kid has done so well, and he's rapid. There's already talk of him being a Wales bolter. I'm not surprised. He is seriously quick, this kid. He's really, really good. And he's going to cause the Dragons a lot of problems on Friday night if our defence end up to it.
Well, so I read the report and it said 2 poor teams, but Tom Bowen was the difference. And I just thought, I do not want to read that again next week because he does look electric and we've got to work hard to contain him.
He is a serious, serious talent. He's very small. He's already getting the tedious and predictable Shane Williams comparisons, which I hate. I absolutely hate it when the media, compares our up-and-coming players to legends. I don't think it's helpful. I think it's really unhelpful. I think it's detrimental, actually, when they do that. I mean, look at Ben Carter when he was constantly being compared to Owen Wyn-Jones. It's just not helpful, is it? At all. No. But yeah, that's the rundown of Cardiff then. They're in good form. They're adjusting to life well without their beloved jockey. They love beating Dragons. They love coming to Rodney Parade. They'll have very good support there. They'll have people turning up to Rodney Parade expecting to beat us, as they always do. So, that's the tale of the tape. Gareth, let's come to you then. This game. I know how much it means to you. I know how much you hate Cardiff. What are your hopes, expectations for this game? Talk to us.
My hopes and my expectations are definitely 2 different things. I was brought up with the Newport Cardiff rivalry through my dad and my granddad, and it is always a fixture. It's the first one I look out for in the calendar. When are we playing Cardiff? It's been a painful fixture. Like I said, we all know that record, so it's been a struggle. And Cardiff are a team on form. They quite comfortably really put the Lions away first round. Could have went to Munster and won. Only lost by 3 points. Put in a good performance away in Munster.
They scored them kicks. If Sheedy was back with those kicks, they would have won that game. They would have gone to Munster and won.
That's it. And I know the scoreline against Connacht wasn't great, and it was a breakaway try, but pretty comfortable from what I've seen for large parts of that game. containing Connaught. So they are a team in form. I imagine they'll be favourites, given the record, just given where both teams are at the minute.
Are the Dragons ever favourites with any team they play against, though? Let's be honest.
I reckon we have games in training and neither side ends up winning. It's just gets abandoned. I'm looking forward to it. You've always got to look forward to the Cardiff game. I'm excited for it. It's a Friday night fixture as well. Let's get out. Let's back the boys. I imagine we're gonna pick the strongest team available, and I know we've got a few injuries, but we
would hope so, wouldn't you?
We have a good team available. 13 is a problem position now.
Yes.
We're not sure what's going to go in there. I guess we'll go on to selection, but. Look, I guess, I hope we win, and I've got to expect that it's a home game. We've rested players to target this, so now I'm expecting let's go out there and get that win. It is important. We have to win games. We can't go on just losing, and we have to get this monkey off our back with Cardiff. It can't go on forever. We will beat them one day, so please, can we just make it Friday?
It might as well be this week.
Yeah, exactly. And whilst they are a better team than us, and they're in a better streak of form, they're not world beaters by a long stretch. There's definitely weaknesses to their game. I imagine when the team's announced that, I probably prefer our pack, especially considering players like Teddy Williams won't be available. If Faletau's not there, great. Although he is a player I do always like to see. So I imagine we'll have the edge up front. But what can we do in the backs? Can we contain Bowen? Cardiff are a team that score a lot of tries. So we're going to need to score tries to actually win that game. I know derbies can be a bit of a leveler and we can drag them down into a bit of a contest, but we're going to need to score tries to win this game. So the attack needs to click. And yeah, selection in the centres is going to be important. And at wide, I guess, there are a couple of options of who's in the back three. So yeah, I'm excited for it. And yeah, I'm expecting let's go and win the game. It's going to be close, but there's no reason why we can't win it.
Well, we've been saying that for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
We still keep losing to them. Oh, dear. Gavin, let's come to you then. What are your thoughts heading into this one? How important is it that Dragons finally get this monkey off the back? And can they beat Cardiff? I mean, this is a team in form. And they do have this record of dominance over us.
This is a good Cardiff side.
Mm.
It's a good Cardiff side. It's probably the best in the last couple of years. They competed away to Munster. They've looked good in their home games. It is a good Cardiff side. So there is that challenge. Can we beat them? Yes, we can. Is it going to be easy? Probably not. But everything's got to click. That line-out has got to be functioning. We've got to have a scrum that holds up. Whoever we pick, 10, whatever, the kicking game has to be right. Everything has to click for us to win. And we can win it, but it's going to require all the pieces to slot into place. And how important is it? Well, I think it's essential, isn't it? If we can come out of the first block with a draw and 2 wins at home, the fact that we've got shellacked away to Ulster and to Glasgow is unimportant because we're in a competitive place. If we come out of this with 1 draw and nothing else, same old, same old.
Yeah, same old Dragons.
Yeah, actually weaker than where we were last year, where we came out with a win from the first block.
And then questions are going to be asked again about the coaching, about Philo, about our attack, about the recruitment. We know how this goes. We've seen this film a million times before. And
my issue with the coaching thing, I've not been anything other than lukewarm about Philo from the start.
Same.
But say they make the plans and they did sack him, who do you bring in?
Well, we had this conversation about when Dave Flanagan left, didn't we?
Yeah,
especially in the current situation in Wales, no coach is going to be jumping at that job.
It's a fair point.
It's not secure, is it?
Yeah. I saw someone saying, "Oh, you could get Steve Diamond." Firstly, no, you couldn't. Secondly, no, you couldn't.
Maybe that's what the thing is, we had that similar with Dean Ryan, didn't we? And it didn't end well. But I do feel Dragons, needs someone who can give the players a bit of a kick up the arse. Because I think Philo, I don't want to say Philo was soft, right? But he comes across as like when you speak to players and people who know him, he's very quiet, he's very soft. Apparently, he's not a guy that gets angry or shouts and screams in the dressing room. He's very calm. He's a family man. He's religious. But I would like someone like, is there anyone in our coaching setup who lays down the law and gives them a kick up the backside when it's needed?
Well,
We don't
think,
know from the outside, but I don't get that impression.
No, I don't think Di did either. Like,
no, Di never did. No, I don't think so. But a Steve Diamond coming in to say, hang on now, you need to shape up, but you got to do it in a way that doesn't obviously upset players and make them want to punch you.
Yeah.
So it's a fine line, isn't it?
Not something that Dimes is good at, the not wanting, not driving people to want to throttle him. So
no. But I'm lukewarm about Philo getting the job. I always was from the get-go. And I said on this pod, I thought it was a very uninspiring choice. And it's not a good record he's got at the moment. And the longer it goes on for, we keep losing with Philo in charge, there's going to be serious questions asked.
It was the equivalent, like when you're hungry and you go home and there's not a lot left in the fridge, and then you have a root around in the freezer, and there's some old crispy Finder's crispy pancakes and oven chips. I thought, I suppose I best eat that because that's all I've got.
What analogies you come up with, Gavin? Fucking hell. So what you're saying is Philo is Finder's crispy pancakes?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I actually like Finder's crispy pancakes, mind.
Yeah,
but I get your point, yeah.
But you wouldn't select them generally, would you?
Dear me.
I like them in a sandwich.
What? In a sandwich?
Yeah, put them in a sandwich.
Oh,
I'm not eating carbs at the minute, though, so I'm just carbs obsessed. But yeah, it's just all a bit uninspiring, isn't it?
Right, okay. Finder's crispy pancakes. I've completely lost my train of thought. I'm thinking about Finder's crispy. Where do I go from here? Where do I go from here? This game is massive, right? Because if Dragons win this game, if they actually do manage to beat Cardiff, that would be two massive monkeys off the back.
Yeah.
Because it'd be their first URC win in over a year, which is bad enough in itself. But also, that would be their first win over Cardiff in a decade. That would be a huge psychological boost for the Dragons, wouldn't it? I feel a win over Cardiff would really kickstart our season and give us a bit of a platform, a bit of a kickstart that we so desperately needed. Because we've played well in patches in these first 3 games, but we haven't come away with anything. So if we finally get a win, get that monkey off the back, I think that could change a lot going forward. I really do. It's really important, Gav. So we're not going to do that thing that a lot of podcasts do. They always do this. Oh, let's select our 15. I'm not doing that because it's a waste of time and I find it boring. So what I will say to you is, what changes would you like to see without naming the entire team? Because I'm not going through all that bollocks. But what changes do you think you'd want to see?
I think the first choice front row. So Brody, Win. I think with the selection headaches at 13, do you go, if he's fit now, Ackerman and Owen? Which I think they're strong, they're good rugby players. Again, do we have the pace? And when you're trying to contain someone like Bowen, is that the concern? But they've had a game together now, which is good as well. So there's a bit more continuity there if we go for those two.
I mean, they'll go Westwood. I do. I think they'll go for. I think
do you think
available. I think they'll go for Westwood at 13. Yeah, which worries me slightly because I remember this time last season when we played Cardiff, Westwood was caught out a number of times defensively.
So and pace isn't a strong point, and I think Cardiff have got a lot of pace out wide, so that would give me a bit of concern. But also, it's about us taking the game to Cardiff as well. What can Westwood impose onto them? His power game.
Lad. He's a good carrier, but it's the defence that's a concern, isn't it?
Yeah, and they're having this troubles a little bit at 13 as well. So it'd be good if we could be targeting them and getting Westwood carrying hard in their channels. I think at fullback there's a decision to make between Angus and Anderson. I haven't checked the weather forecast.
I would pick Anderson.
Really?
I do think we're going to need to score tries to win this game. And I think Anderson, yeah, I agree with Gav. Anderson's got that in his bag. He can create, he can make something out of nothing and score tries. And he adds pace. Yeah, he adds pace into the back line, which we need. Angus, a good one to have on the bench, covering 10 and 15 anyway. And I think, a lot of the other changes quite obvious. Players like Wainwright, Carter, and all coming in, and the halfbacks going back to the usual. But yeah, who are you thinking at 15, Jimmy?
I think it'd be Angus, because otherwise you wouldn't have rested him. If we didn't have intentions of playing Angus, then I think he would have played on Glasgow. But because he was rested, I'll see him start at 15.
Is that who you want, though?
I'm not against it. I can understand the arguments for Anderson. There are several things you could do. Would you drop Anisi? I think he's been pretty decent.
I'd keep Anisi in.
I've seen a lot of fans say drop Rio and have Anderson on the wing. That would be a big call. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's one decision that could be made. But I want Rio starting, to be honest.
Yeah.
I want Rio starting.
I want Rio starting. If he had a really good performance against Cardiff, that could really kickstart things for him, I believe.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he does need a good season. That's right. People are. I think some of the criticism has been a little harsh, but I do think now he needs a really good game, and he has a perfect opportunity to do against Cardiff. The Welsh selectors will be there, so he has an opportunity now to impress Tandy. He puts in a good performance in these Welsh derbies. I think he puts himself in the shop window to be selected for Wales. So it's a big opportunity for him.
What more motivation do you want than all this talk around Bowen? Go out there, you be the best wing on the pitch. You're the international on that pitch. Go and be the best wing. I hope they don't have Josh Adams back either. Oh God, he's good.
Yeah.
So do you know? So the average pint of beer in the country now, right, is £5.01. The average pint of beer last time we beat Cardiff was £3.31.
I was wondering where you were going with that.
Yeah, I was thinking, what the fuck's he talking about this for? Okay, I get it. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's how much they should be charging for a pint over the Dragons then, because time stood still in it really.
Where do you think this game is going to be won and lost then? Because I think personally it'll be the breakdown.
Yeah.
Cardiff are exceptional at the breakdown. They're really, really good.
They always are, aren't they? They're always a good breakdown team.
Dan Thomas, very experienced, excellent at the breakdown. Not so much Tane. He's good for his ball carrying, but they've got a back row that consistently turns over ball. And I think if Cardiff win the breakdown battle, they'll win the game. I think we can match them up front. I do, although I am gutted to lose Levi Douglas. I think he would have been a really good player to bring off the bench, add a bit of oomph. I'm interested to see if Mackenzie Martin can play this game. So I know some people might be thinking, well, how come, he can't play against his parent club? But actually, I will remind you that when we had Matthew Screech on loan from Cardiff, he did actually play against Cardiff. It all depends what's written in his contract.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing in the contract or deal that he struck with Cardiff/WRU to say he can't play in this game, then he should be able to play in this game, unless there's some kind of clause. And if he is available to play in this game, I really want to see him play in this game and come off the bench, because he's already spoken to Wales Online about the opportunity if he gets one to play against Cardiff.
Yeah.
And I think he'd have a hell of a point to prove. He talked about, it'd be great to, play against my friends and have the opportunity to, play against them and run over them. He said, I think. I'm paraphrasing now, but he did say, I love to run over some friends. So I think that'd be great. I love to see like George Knott, Tane Basher, and then the former Cardiff boys. It's a nice little battle there, isn't it? Because they're trying to get one up on their former clubs.
You have him on the bench, would you then, or start?
Oh yeah. Well, there's an argument to start him at 6, mind. People forget that he can play at 6.
Or Wainwright at 6, just as
I'd have Shane Lewis Hughes at 6. So
you keep with Shane Lewis Hughes at 6.
I go Shane Lewis Hughes, Waino.
But that would give you a heavier pack then, though, wouldn't it? If you had Big Mac, that would beef up the pack a lot more. I love Shane Lewis Hughes. You guys know that. I think he's been terrific since he's come from Cardiff. But if you wanted a bulkier back row, you would go Big Mac 6, Waino at 8, and at 7, you would assume it'd be Keddy. He should be fit.
But do we know why Keddy pulled out last minute? What was?
I don't know. I don't know why that was.
Yeah, my issue there, I like Keddy, but he's not the out-and-out 7. If we had an out-and-out 7, it would be great. We're
talking about a breakdown battle.
Yeah.
It's who's winning turnovers. That it's just not. I think props-wise, I'd have Dylan Lewis on the bench.
Same.
With Rob Hunt starting.
Yeah.
He offers breakdown threat.
Let's talk about the second row then. What did you make of Seb Davis? Because he had a mixed reaction from what I saw on the socials on this debut. You was there. What did you make of him?
I thought he was putting it about. He looked good, and it's different watching it live sometimes. It was a mile from the pitch as well. But yeah, I thought he looked good. He's putting it about in defence. He's rangy, mauled defence. I thought was pretty good at times as well. So I think, does he go straight in now?
Davis
alongside Ben?
He was off match pace a little bit, I thought, but
it was his first game back though.
Yeah, but he's a big old lump, and he give us a bit of size. Yeah, I think you'd probably start him and Carter in the second row.
Or you could play Screech, who I think has had a decent start this season. You could start with Carter and Screech, who played together many times. Then you got the experience and a Seb Davis coming off the bench.
Yeah.
And he's a big guy as well.
Be a very ex-Cardiff bench, wouldn't it? Dylan, Seb, Mac. Tina starting. Yeah, Tina's got to start, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's going to be some very familiar faces, isn't it? So
please beat them.
I would say I'm looking forward to it, but I never am against Cardiff. But I'm numb to the pain now. I just accept that we always.
It's 8 o'clock kickoff, is it?
7:45, I think.
7:45. Yeah.
I'm in London. I have to make sure I get back from London in time.
Oh, don't rush back, Gav. I would rush back for this one, especially if you know the outcome. Because every time we play Cardiff, it's always the same, isn't it? But
look, in a moment of insane positivity, you never know.
And we have looked better this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, results haven't been what we wanted, but I think in patches. But I'm still seeing Dragonsy things though.
Yeah.
Whilst I do agree with what you're saying, Gav. Yeah, we have looked better, but I'm still seeing Dragonsy moments, and we've got to eradicate those bad habits, those behaviours, those Dragonsy moments if we're ever really going to kick on.
It looks like it's going to be dry as well, which is that a good thing? I don't know. I think they score a lot of tries, don't they? I hope we smash Sheedy. We really need to get into him because he's been given too much time on the ball by teams at the minute.
He's playing. I've never been a big Callum Sheedy fan.
Playing well.
But he is. You got to give credit to his dude.
Six Nations champion, Callum Sheedy.
He is playing good rugby, though.
He's playing well. I'm not a fan at all.
Cardiff are playing well.
He's world class, but I mean, I don't rate the guy. But I will say he's having a very good season, Callum.
And they're going to be even better now with Ben Thomas back.
That's a boost for them. He's a classy operator, Ben Thomas, as we all know. So,
can we contain those types of players? Is my big concern.
The questions for me are: do Dragons really believe they can win? Because I've always spoken about this team. I do believe we're mentally weak. I make no apologies for saying it. I've said it a lot. Will the pressure of winning a game in over a year and finally beating Cardiff, will that pressure break them? Because we saw what happened in the Sharks those last few minutes. We put ourselves under pressure. We were weighed down by this losing streak. And we did daft things because we were desperate. And that's my concern going into this game. Are Dragons going to repeat those same daft moments because they're under this huge pressure of winning a game and finally beating Cardiff? We will come on to predictions, but I'm not entirely convinced Dragons have the mental resilience or leadership required to win this game. And I could see a familiar pattern that we've always had against Cardiff where we'll lose it in the final 5 minutes. Like the game is in the balance, but we'll do something Dragonsy or something daft. We'll make a rash decision and we'll end up losing it. Because that tends to be what happens against Cardiff at Rodney Parade. Now, at the Arms Park, it's been a different story. We have had some absolute thumpings.
Yeah, we get hammered, don't they? I've stopped going.
It's a write-off. It's a waste of time. We're always going
to... That Boxing Day game a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I call it the Nightmare on Westgate Street, which David Butcher's quite liked. He liked it. He liked that title.
That was disgusting, that game.
Yeah.
Did not enjoy that. Again, the one thing to say as well, fans, Friday night, Rodney Parade, let's make it hostile.
You've got to do your bit over the terrace, and the Bisley, where I am, we need to put down our prawn sandwiches and champagne and caviar, and we also need to make some noise.
No doubt Lofi will be rallying the troops. We're trying to get a big group of us going over, dragging anyone in. Do the same if you go in. Bring a friend over, bring a family member. Let's get on the terrace. Let's be loud. Let's make it hostile, and let's make it a night to remember.
Yeah,
we should be excited to play them. We should be.
but
I
the
know we've
record
got the
means we're
history.
not. That's the problem.
Yeah,
It's
I
the
know.
history, isn't it?
I've got an underlying worry, but we should be excited for these games. These are the games why you're a fan and why you're a player. Big derby games, big crowd. Let's get into them. Let's get it over the line. We have to beat them eventually. So,
and there will be a lot of Cardiff fans there as well, which will add to the atmosphere. But I think the Dragons fans really need to do what they used to do and really get under the skin of the players, make it hostile, make it uncomfortable. You know, when Ospreys come here, that's what we do. And quite often it works. I want to see us do that for Cardiff as well. Let's get under their skin.
Yeah.
You know, let's I don't want to say abuse the players, but let's give them some pelters. Let's make it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Let's put some pressure on guys that can win it, and let's give Tane a warm welcome. A very warm welcome. Lay off George, because he's a nice guy. I like George. But Tane, yeah, you can give us some stick. Absolutely, because he's a traitor. Right then, let's do our prediction, shall we? Who wants to go first? Gavin, Gareth? Come on, let's have your predictions.
Go on, I'll do it. Cardiff by 6.
Come on. Gav, don't do that to me. I've got all week to look forward to this.
You're going to upset Gareth. You're going to upset him.
Don't look to me for hope. God's sake.
I am looking to you for hope. Come on.
Gareth.
Dragons by 1.
You silly sod, you've fallen for it. He's optimistic again. He's optimistic. Oh, dear.
I can't take another loss to Cardiff. I just can't.
You have to, mate. You've been doing it for the past 10 years. Why stop now? It needs to come to an end. This wretched run needs to come to an end.
It really does.
And look, it's the Dragons' own fault, this losing run, because they have had so many opportunities to end it. They've been in so many winning positions and they bolstered up. So it's their fault that they've allowed this, and they have allowed this embarrassing run to continue. And because they've lost games to the final 5 minutes by a couple of points.
You're not a fan because you like watching your team lose. Like some of my best memories of the Dragons are like winning Welsh derby matches. And there's been the odd cup run and things like that. But when I look back to my memories of enjoying watching Cardiff, I'm like, I was a child. Like it was a long time ago. It's just not on. Like we deserve to be creating new memories. You know, I still cling on to that great win against the Ospreys last season. Loved that, giving Derry loads of stick. That got me through the rest of the year. But I need another one now. It's been too long. Like, come on, let's get it over the line. Go on, Jamie. Put me back in my box. Tell me we're going to lose as well.
If Dragons finally beat Cardiff, I do think it'll be at Ronnie Parade. I don't see them doing it at Cardiff Arms Park.
Yeah.
I just don't trust this team. I don't trust them. I'm going to say Cardiff by 5. Because I think the pressure will get to us in those final few minutes. I think if the game is in the balance, I think we'll do something Dragonsy, and I think we'll fuck it up. Because that is what we always do against. History tells us that's what the Dragons do at Ronnie Parade. We get ourselves into winning positions, and then the doubts creep in, and then we do daft things, and then we become Dragonsy. I'm not seeing anything to make me think that's going to change, unfortunately. And Cardiff are in very good form right now. This would be a huge scalp, actually. If we beat Cardiff, that would be pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
Given how they're playing. They're 4th now.
Do you know what annoys me even more about this bloody fixture is there's no rivalry. They don't care. And that's embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing. They don't care because who cares when you play the... Yeah, we're not a threat. There's nothing worse than just... We're harmless. We are harmless.
We're the Dragons.
We're that boy at the bar you'd leave talking to your missus because you're harmless. It's pathetic.
You won't do no harm. Dragons won't do any harm, bless them.
It's just like... And Cardiff fans, it does mean a lot to me to beat Cardiff.
Yeah.
But I 100% accept that it doesn't mean a lot to Cardiff. And it shouldn't because we've been shit. But we need to change that. We need to bloody their nose, get some victories, and let's get that rivalry back because there was a great rivalry.
Oh, there was, and the traditional Newport Cardiff rivalry is still pretty strong, and it's a shame that it has been diluted a little bit, since the teams went regional, and because of this wretched record.
Yeah.
If you speak to Cardiff fans, I guarantee you, 99%, if you ask them about who's your greatest rival, 99% of them will say the Ospreys.
Yeah.
They really don't like the Ospreys, Cardiff fans. That's their biggest rival in Welsh rugby. Some of them will say Scarlets, but a lot of them will say Ospreys.
Because they've been the modern day checkbook Charlies, like Cardiff always have been.
They've got this weird sort of respect, Cardiff and Scarlets, because they're the standalone clubs and all this sort of stuff. And they bang on about their history, don't they? And all this sort of guff. So they really don't like the Ospreys. That's their rivals. I think if you spoke to most Cardiff fans, we're not their rivals.
No.
Because we're not a threat. And they beat us every year. So to them, it's like, yeah, we play Dragons. Well, we beat them every year. So
I don't think Cardiff don't consider us that. We have to make it that again, don't we?
We do, but it starts with actually beating them.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So
being a challenge would be a good starting point.
It would. But I am looking forward to Friday night. If you haven't got a ticket, get down there. Make some noise, get behind the Dragons. Let's try and make this place a fortress again. Let's try and make it uncomfortable. Like the good old days. I remember the days used to come to Ronnie Parade and we beat Cardiff. But it's a big game. It's a big game and we need to win. It's huge. This game is huge. This on Ospreys is massive. So, I'll see you on Friday night then, probably, Gareth, won't I?
Yeah.
A pint or two.
A couple of pints, yeah. Sounds good to me.
Maybe later after the game when we're crying into our pints about another Cardiff defeat. But I so want us to win because I hate seeing you like this. I hate seeing my Gareth upset. And, when we do this pod next week and it's been another could have, would have, should have.
It's going to either be very high or very low next week's pod.
Yeah, it will. It really will. But let's see what happens. Stranger things have happened. Yeah. We'll see. We will see. Right.
Come on, Dragons. We can do it.
Up the Men of Gwent, please. Don't let us down. For once, don't let us down. Thank you. Gentlemen, thank you as always. Thank you to our friends at the Riverside Sports Bar for their continued support of the pod. We'll be back next week where hopefully we might be talking about a win, maybe, possibly. Who knows? Probably not. Until next time, thanks for listening. And remember, it's the hope that kills you. We'll speak again next week. Ta-ra.